Welcome to my channel. So today's topic has to do with prior planning for fire abatement. And this needs to be done on a community scale, but it starts at a single household. And the fires in Northern California, as well as Southern California now, are making it extremely abundantly aware to the public that people are not protecting their properties well enough. So here's some suggestions on future buildings and how to move forward with new buildings and to reduce fire in your neighborhood and the communities surrounding your neighborhood. So what you can do for a single household, and that can be doubled up household after household, if everybody pays attention and works together cooperatively. The first thing you can do, first and primary way to reduce fire on your property, is to choose your vegetation wisely. And different climates have different requirements for vegetation. LA is going to have a different climate than Paradise, California, and they're going to have different reasons for fires. Two, depending on the slope of the land, anything under 18% slope, okay, that's like not 30 degrees, it's like less, it's like under 20 degrees. We should install swales if it's possible. Swales are ditches on contour that run around the land on level trenches, and they regreen very quickly and hold water, and they mitigate water transmission through the subsoil, reducing fire because they maintain more moisture for the plants, so the plants are less dry. We can choose plants that reduce radiation going towards the house, because the house will be hit by radiation long before it'll be hit by fire. And as fires radiate energy away from themselves, they'll knock birds out of the sky well in advance of the fire. So we need to put in plants that would reduce that radiation or buffer that radiation and cause a radiation shadow to the house. We can also install plants like agapanthus, which are gel plants that are extremely difficult to burn. If you can burn an agapanthus, you've really gotten it really dry. And you put a lot of energy into it. And the more energy a fire has to produce to burn stuff, the sooner it goes out, because the amount of fuel that it has will be consumed trying to heat up the next item to burn. So as we go through a system of plantings and we start putting in things that are resistant to fire, ground covers and things, certain plants will stick out and be obvious they didn't burn. And we need to take those plants and we need to put those in front of houses. As far as the house is concerned, there's a couple of things that we can do to rebuild. One, we can build monolithic dome structures, right? And you can look up monolithic dome homes. They're externally insulated concrete structures that are rebar reinforced. and they're in the shape of a dome, so airflow goes over them, and they don't have any roof structures to catch embers, things like that. Fires go around them because there's nothing to burn up the building, vertical surfaces of any serious nature. And wind goes around them, water goes around them, because they're domes. And we can rebuild fast and inexpensively dome homes. Windows. We can go and we can modify our windows to not be vinyl install, because vinyl melts in a fire and the window drops out, and then embers can go in the house and burn the house down. Or we can put shutters on the windows to keep them from falling out. Or we can install vinyl with aluminum outside coverings, just keep the window from falling out, stop embers from going in. So there's stuff we can do. We can use intermittent paint or fire-resistant paint that has borax in it. And this really reduces the ability for the building to burn, period. So if you had shingles or wood or something like that, you could paint it with intermittent paint. And the only downside is you got to put a clear coat over that paint to make sure that it doesn't flake off. Intermittent paint is designed for interior painting, not designed for exterior painting, but we can do it. And they have ceramic paints that are fire resistant also, and don't allow heat to transfer into the building. Ceramic paints are extremely effective that way, and those need to be researched a little bit, and those are easy to apply. It's just like regular paint. It all goes in the paint. Defensible zones, not having trees contacting the house, not having bushes and shrubs contacting the house that are flammable. Giving firefighters a chance. Putting sprinklers on the roof and sprinklers in the house. That really reduces the ability for the house to catch on fire. Having a cistern next to the house that's got a battery backup with a pump that will pump water up to the sprinklers and sprinkle the roof until the fire department gets there. Those are all beneficial. Getting the ground wet makes it nearly impossible for a ground fire to pass the house. And if every house has wet ground, the fire will go around the properties instead of through the properties. So there's ways to get around these fires, and there's ways to protect the infrastructure without requiring government assistance or government intervention. But we could change the rules and the laws a little bit. The government could do that. They could make it a requirement to use intermittent paint or build monolithic domes. They could make it a requirement for swales on lowlands. They could make it a requirement. They could change the rules and benefit the public, so that way the public doesn't have to rebuild their house all the time. It's possible, is what I'm saying. Dry matter burns far easier than wet matter. Wet matter takes a lot of energy to cook the water out and then burn it. Here in California, we have droughts on a regular basis. We have a really low waterfall. And the problem with the soil structure in California, not every location, but generally, is that we've worked the carbon out of it. And carbon acts like a sponge. And when you have a sponge in your soil, you can hold more moisture. So as the carbon is denser in infiltration into the soil, it can hold more moisture, and it becomes less problematic for fire. So as the carbon content goes out of the soil, it can't hold as much moisture, it heats up faster, and then it can burn. The organic matter can burn. Simple things to think about, not impossible to do. If you have questions on this, leave a comment in the comment section below. If you like this content, you want to see more of it, give it a thumbs up. And if you really, really like this content, share it with a friend. If you really, really, really like this content, make your own content and share it with me, because I want to see what you're doing to protect your house and your neighborhood from fire. Have a great day.